toes on my feet, stomping out the negativity. Everybody not a friend of me, spread the love, still I move deliberately. Bully face on, but the smile be heavenly. Brooklyn girls, so they love the energy, love sincerity. So I take the liberty to take them on a journey lyrically through hallways and alleys.
Hey, Mama, what's up, Melissa? Hey, world.
Hello. So nice to be here.
Yes. You know what's funny? Our weeks are actually going by kind of fast now that I've been dating you in the Matrix.
We are the Matrix. I know our days do come up really fast.
Yeah, like before it felt like it was so long in between. And it was like, wait a minute, just last week we were on and had this illuminating conversation, and now we're back again. How are you, my love?
Oh, you know how it is, single and in the next chapter of my life.
We just finished doing that 7-day virtual stage challenge. What did you think?
Very interesting.
Okay.
Wondering if I have things that I want to talk about that other people would find interesting, right? And is that just a woman thing? Like, we've been taught so long, like what we say isn't interesting and that we should just, or is it a me thing? So trying to figure that out. How do you think?
I definitely had some jewels, but not all 7 days, so I began to drift away. But, I always see the hustle in everything. And I thought her hustle was sweet. I was not mad at her at all. I loved the way that she had put everything together. I thought it was very well done. And I thought she did it, like a professional, you know what I mean? So I'm always pleased with that. There's so many times that we get caught up in things and it really don't be our waste, be our time worthy, you know what I mean? And we're annoyed and, or we're like, oh my goodness, we don't learn anything, or, they're missing the point because we already know it. Like there's so many times when you're in the wrong room. And I didn't really feel like I was in the wrong room. I felt like, this is okay. And I didn't mind coming back, for the next day. I missed 2 days of the 7 days though.
So did I, but I did do all my homework. Did you?
Okay. So the reason why I missed my 2 days is the same reason why I think you might have missed 2 days. I was laid up. And I was not thinking about
up, but I'm busy.
But did you not have a date over the weekend?
That's the question, right?
So here we are. So here we are today on the next chapter. Hey, everyone. Welcome once again to the next chapter. I am your host, Miss KittyRose, and my co-host, Miss
Melissa D.
Yes, Lord, yes. And we are coming to you once again with the next chapter. These last few weeks with you all has been amazing. We've been enjoying this ride. We've had some really interesting conversations about how Melissa and I are looking at things now in the next chapter of our lives. And we're hoping that you kind of are feeling the same vibe along with us and discovering, what's new about what you're feeling in these next chapter of your life. And in the next chapter, in both of our lives, is the subject we're talking about today, which is drum roll. Let me see if I can get my drum roll. My drum roll will be in
first dates.
First dates. Woo! Dun dun dun. First dates.
Yeah, I gotta say, yes, I feel like Melissa, you and I have dated in 2 different eras.
Okay.
Right? Because I feel like when we were growing up, teenagers, young 20s, there was no internet, right? And so there wasn't the online dating thing. Like you went out, you met somebody, or you knew from a friend of a friend. And now there are these dating apps. And it's like, what? So much judgment goes into these things.
So are you using the dating apps? Because I haven't taken that route yet. I've thought about it. I have not done a swipe left, swipe right. I have not done one yet. I have not made a profile. I've thought about it. And that's as far as it's gone. I've thought about it and I have not taken that leap yet. So how is online dating different than bumping into someone and meeting them accidentally on the dance floor?
Let me tell you, I think like, oh my gosh. First off, as an artist, as a creative individual, you look at all these other profiles and you're like, what the fuck are these people thinking? Like, whoever thought taking a picture in the bathroom was the best lighting, the best environment.
Okay. Okay. Like, what are you thinking when you're taking the picture? Right.
Yeah. Or this, because they're taking it from below their chin on their phone.
So is there photograph etiquette that they should be doing?
Oh my Lord. Or you get like 5 people in every single profile picture and you're like, who matches in each one of these? Because that's the person. It's a mind fuck. I'm telling you. It's insane. It's
so
insane.
do you actually meet people in person anymore?
I have. I've met people on dance floors. I've met people at networking meetings. But then it's like you meet them out in the public. Is it like a hookup thing? Okay. Like, or is it like, let me get your number, let's, chat. And then there's a chatting thing. How long do you chat with somebody before you're like, this isn't going anywhere?
And how many dates are enough first dates before you know? Like, I was looking at one of my videos today that I was thinking about putting back from, I think, 2 years ago. And because someone was telling me that I'm too flirtatious. And, I was saying that, if I'm flirting with you intentionally, like, because I'm interested, you know it. If you have to question whether or not I like you, then usually I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't have to question whether or not a woman or a man is attracted to you. So once you get past that, okay, I'm attracted, and you go on a date, in today's society or today's way of doing things, yes, the way we are dating may be different, but is it also different in the way we're approaching dating when we're on these dates? Is it now women feel more independent, so they're more open to Dutch dates, or do we feel still traditional? Like I'm see, because I'm a very traditional woman, but is that fair? Because
what's a Dutch date though? I have no idea what that is.
A Dutch date is when both of y'all pay your own way.
Oh, okay.
Going Dutch.
Oh, okay.
And then who determines that? Because they say that the person that asks you out.
I did a Dutch date, not even realizing I was doing a Dutch date, because I'm like, I'm an independent woman and I'm not expecting this person to pay for me. So I'm like, oh, we'll just split it.
But you were on a date where he asked you on a date, so he was supposed to pay for the meal.
Well, maybe that's why I really haven't heard back from him.
Because the other part to it is that sometimes us being independent, I have heard, has turned men off. Because we're not allowing them to be the man in that traditional setting. But but then when we fall into that traditional setting, then they saying that we're looking for a sugar daddy, or we're looking for a man to take care of us. So when we show a level of independence, how does that end up backfiring on us? And then what happens when you have sex on the first date? Does that mean that you are loosey goosey?
No, I don't think so. I think that feels like if the energy is there and you want to flow with that energy, and then, see how it goes. Because sometimes it doesn't go very well. And you're like, all right, that was an experience. I'll see you around.
But maybe it didn't go very well, and it doesn't allow for a second date where it could have not went very well because it was the first time. Maybe there might have been some alcohol involved. There might have been nerves involved. How now do you give the relationship a fair opportunity if you had sex and you're basing, maybe not having a second date, basing it off of that first initial oops, if it was a oops, because it wasn't good. Because if it was good, then you're probably going to have a second date. But then is the second date based off of wanting to fuck again and not getting to know that person? So you almost set yourself up, because all that person now might be thinking the whole time that they're at dinner is, I want to have sex and not even listening to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Has that happened to you?
Has that happened to me? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, I think like there's experiences where you meet somebody and you get a need served, and it's just like, all right, that need is served.
So is that a date?
That's in common.
So is that a date? Or is that just getting down?
I guess that would probably be just getting down, right?
Okay. So then who gets it confused that it was a date?
I don't think either one of us were confused that it was not a date.
What has been one of your oddest first dates?
I think it was my first online date. So people who know me know I don't cook. And so I was chatting with this person like all day, and I'm like, shit, I'm hungry. And I was like, I let him know I'm hungry. He's like, well, I just cooked dinner. I'll bring you some food over. And I'm like, all right, if you don't murder me, I'll let you bring me leftovers. So that was like my first experience of like online dating and then meeting that person in real life. Very unsafe, but I was very hungry.
How did it go?
It was a delicious dinner.
But how did the date go?
Good. We had some great conversation. Yeah, it was good conversation. Yep.
I don't have a weird first date, but I do have a weird second date. So the first date, I could tell that the guy saved up for, right? So he saved up for the date.
Saved up in what way?
Saved up, I guess, because he was a struggling artist. And this is not like a guy dated in my 30s. This was in my 40s. And yes, and but I could tell that he saved for the first date. Because the second date, are you ready? Are you ready? I met him at Starbucks, and this guy stole a sandwich in front of me.
Oh my God. And only one? You had to share the stolen one? So you didn't even get a free stolen sandwich. You had a split.
I wasn't included in the stolen sandwich.
How did the date progress after that?
I don't even remember. I think I actually ended up spending some more time with him. I think I actually gave the guy like 2 months. So that's another question. I had a bad second date, but I gave the guy 2 months. Has that happened? What's that type of thinking when you don't have a successful first date, which is your red flag or your warning, but you don't listen?
Yeah. And then you just tell your friends, and your friends are usually one to be like, girl, he stole a sandwich on your second date. What are you thinking? It's only downhill from here.
And it was because what happened was it was Christmas. And he invited us to Christmas dinner. And he was the only one that didn't bring anything to Christmas dinner.
Oh my gosh.
That was the ending for me. I was like, oh my God, he's the worst. But I still gave him like 2 months. And it's funny because now in this next chapter of my life, the last 4 years, I've been gearing up to becoming this empty nester. So I've been dating and that kind of situation and what that looks like. So there was this prior to my Stedman Graham and prior to my Bama, I had met like 4 men. And I have to say, knock on wood, I think I meet nice guys. I think I do.
Where do you meet them?
Where do I meet them? I was on set and met one guy who was a musician. One guy I met on the train. on Amtrak coming from DC to New York, and we were in the food cart area drinking. So
Okay.
and one dude I met through another party, we had mutual friends, and he liked me and he'd been watching me. And then the other guy knew me from the work area, knew me from Harlem, or knew of me, and had been kind of been hinting towards me for a minute, but he's short. So I never really was giving him any play. So, but I decided to give each one of these gentlemen a date. The guy I'm on the train, one date, that was it. Nice date, great date. But to be honest with you, he was a different shade. So that's why I didn't have a second date.
Okay.
Second guy I met on set, first date, it was but it was so it wasn't really worth me doing it again. You know what I'm saying? Now the one who was the mutual that knew the similar, we knew the same people, I actually gave him 3 dates, but I knew on the first date I didn't like him.
Really?
And I had a good time with him on all 3 dates.
But so what was it that wasn't connecting?
It just didn't connect for me. And I wanted it to connect because I thought he seemed like a nice guy. And he was so much like, oh my God, I like you so much. And I think that's what was turning me off, how much he was professing his like for me, which is a turn off, guys. FYI, like, we want you guys to give us affection, but like the first couple of days, like, it's a bit much. it's a bit stalky.
Or why are you ignoring me? We haven't talked in like 30 minutes. Like, you don't like me anymore?
You get those? I've never gotten that.
Oh yeah, I've gotten the text message. You're like, you don't like me no more. We haven't like texted one day. Like, now that I'm busy.
No, Melissa. Okay. But I wanted to like him. But I did. Now, the guy that was watching me in Harlem, I actually feel bad. And this is why I'm bringing these guys up. I went on 5 dates with this guy. 5. But I knew, again, from day 1, I didn't like him. And the only thing that made me stop going on dates with him after the 5th date is because I calculated the amount of money he has spent in just these 5 dates. And I wasn't kissing him. He ain't getting no ass. He ain't get a touch. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I started to feel bad. Like, this cat was spending G's, you know what I'm saying? And I don't like him. And yet he's spending so much because he didn't have a car. So he was Uber here, Uber there, high-end restaurants. We did appetizers and we both drinking. Yes.
What?
Honey. Yes, honey. You know, you could do the appetizer too.
Yes.
Goddamn shame. Goddamn shame. It's like, wait, we could do appetizers? Oh, okay.
Got myself a sugar daddy.
But I refuse to continue to do that. So have you dated someone where the dates were nice, but you knew that there was no connection?
No. No.
How long have you been single now?
Over a year.
So is it the freshness of being, because you're single now and you're 40, you know what I mean? You're in a different, I won't say demographic, because I really think men are men. You know what I'm saying? I think men, we all have trauma. You know what I'm saying? White men have white supremacy trauma. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Black men got lack of power trauma. You know what I'm saying? Spanish men got they minority to the minorities trauma. Asians
Mhm.
don't know where they fit in trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all fucking got trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, so with that being the case, how do you then, I forgot my point of why I was talking about, but all men are the same. So now with that being the case, you are now for, like, I remember, like, okay, this is the point. I was loosey goosey for 4 years after my marriage ended. Like,
Mhm.
I married at 22.
Mhm.
You understand?
Yep.
So I didn't date as a woman. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I dated what, 19, 18, 17. What's that? That's not for real shit. You know what I'm
Nah.
saying? So 22, married, boom, kids, boom. You know what I'm saying? I'm in that
Mhm.
up until 32 years old, right? So
Yep.
now as 32, I'm now dating for the first time as an adult. So
Mm.
I'm not really trying to lock down because I just got out of a marriage, out of a
Yep.
committed situation. You know what I'm saying? So I was out there for like 4 years bucking. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. 4
Bucking.
years. That's a long
Girl,
time.
4 years. 4 years I had a married man. 4 years I had a jailbird. I had Dirty David. I had I had my rebound. My rebound gave me my first orgasm. I had Bama. Like I had, yeah, I had a I had a few. I had more than my share in my life.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Um, and then that grew tiresome. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I knew that that's not ultimately what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? When I started to look at what the end game looks like, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And then I started calling into manifestation what I wanted. And next thing you know, I was back into a relationship again, And then once I got out of that relationship, then I took the time to be abstinent for 2 years because
Mhm.
I had been having sex since my kids don't watch my show since I'm 17 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So my body hadn't had a break. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
From either one night stands or relationships. So I needed to find what that was like. And then I was abstinent for 2 years before I started dating Bama again. And then now my current situation. And the current situation I'm in worries me because he's just free out of his 17-year marriage.
Okay. All right. So does he need that extra time to kind of be
Yes.
free?
He, as a friend, yes,
Yeah.
he does. As the woman he's currently fucking, hell fucking no.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? But yes, you know what I'm saying? So that's a weird place to be in
Mhm.
because, he's in his he's going into his 5th year of being single. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So, we've had the conversation where even one of my dearest friends have said that that's another reason why men don't want to put labels, or women want to put labels on relationships because they've been in such a label situation already that they need that freedom just for a minute. Not that they don't want it again, but they just need
Mhm.
that freedom for a minute. So that could be tricky when it comes to dating, because if you're dating just for companionship, then
Mhm.
are you expected then for him to pay? Or
Mhm.
should it be Dutch? Because I'm not looking to build anything with you. So why should that man, make the financial investment in dating me? Or
Those
is
are like
that,
big life decisions to make on the first date.
but on the first date, should we not be thinking about the second and third and fourth date? Or are we just having the first date for first fucking dates? Because first dates are fucking tiresome, Melissa. It's the same
Yeah.
fucking conversation. It's the same fucking questions. It's the same fucking insecurities. Is he going to like me? Am I showing enough? Am I showing too much? I remember having to go on first dates and realizing that because I'm slim, now I like showing my body, but on a first date, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
No?
On a first date, I might wear a longer skirt.
Okay.
You know what
All
I'm
right.
saying? Because I know that as a slim woman, when I wear tight clothes, my attention is drawn to my ass. So do I want you to be looking at my ass, or do I want you to think that I'm trying to show you my ass because I want to fuck you that night? And I might want to fuck you that night, but I don't know yet because we haven't even had cocktails yet.
So many questions, and like having to decode all these things just to go and meet somebody to see if you would even be compatible.
But you're not doing that. That's the problem. You're not going out just to see if you can meet someone.
Yeah. What happens when you go on a date and you realize they think it's just an investment meeting versus the date you thought it was going to be? I misread that code.
How about I've used that? Yo, son, when I met the native man, right? This is who I thought was my soulmate. I still kind of think he was, right? So I found him online, and I've never met someone or looked at someone's profile online. So I found him on Instagram, but his work was community activism as a filmmaker and film production house, and he helped other aspiring filmmakers get funding for their platforms that had social justice.
Oh.
So I'm like, unveil a lot, you know what I'm saying? My social justice component of the KittyRose lifestyle. He can help fund marketing. I had just, did my movie. I'm like, okay, maybe he could put us in some, some places, get us a production deal. Let it reach out to him. But first what I did was I liked the picture.
Yeah.
And then he liked the picture.
Okay.
And I was like,
so this is the Instagram dance we now do.
Right. And then I got his number and I was like, I found you or some shit like that. And I was like, if you and your lady don't mind me saying, you are a handsome man. And he was like, I don't have a lady. And I was like,
ooh,
oh.
I like that line. Definitely gonna use that. I gotta write that down.
Use that line. Ladies, say no disrespect, but I hope you and your lady don't mind. And then you can see what his reply is. You can take that one.
Yes.
So he was like, I don't have a lady. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, well, I saw your profile and I saw that you do da. Can we meet? So we met under that premise. Girl, that business meeting might have been for 45 minutes. Because after the business meeting was done, we was kissing face. Like, yes, honey. Girl, we was kissing face and walking down the street holding hands to Central Park. Yes, honey.
Wow. How long did
that
one go on for?
Well, interesting enough. Do we have time?
Not a lady.
Right.
Yeah,
we don't have time. We don't have time. Follow, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You'll hear that story. No, it lasted. I guess it lasted 10 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But we weren't really together for 10 months because it was a long distance relationship. So we only saw each other every 3 months. So I only saw him 4 times in the 10 months that we was together. And we were really in the beginning stages of dating and getting to know each other. And then circumstances changed and someone else came into play a part. He wanted more kids. I didn't. Ugh. Yeah, I didn't. The woman he ended up being with wanted kids, didn't have kids yet. Then that's when I thought about polyamorous because I was like, yo, I've only had them 4 times this year. You know what I'm saying? That was awesome. You know what I mean? And each time, the first time was a weekend. Then the second time, I think it was like 4 or 5 days. Then the third time was like 7 days. And the fourth time was like 11 days. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so
wow.
it kept increasing. But it wasn't like I had to, excuse me, it wasn't so much that I needed him every day, 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? So I actually considered having a polyamorous relationship with this gentleman, but his wife wasn't down for it. So if she's not down for it, then that would have been adultery. And that I'm not down for on any level. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the relationship ended, and it's fine because I think ultimately that probably wouldn't have worked for me either. Because even as I replay, and talk about the times we spent. Like I said, each time it was more and more, it was more. So it probably would have ended up that way, that each time we were together, it would have been more and more time. And I don't know if all of us can always deal with the security of knowing that your partner has feelings for someone else. You know what I mean? It doesn't take away the feelings that they have for you, but I don't know if we're built to deal with consciously knowing that our partner has feelings for someone else.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that to go back to our topic, I think that you don't want to think so much into a first date. No, of course not. But I think people don't think enough about what goes into a first date, you know, unless, because even if it's just you're going on a date, then that's fine to say. I think people should always just make their intentions clear to what it is that they're doing. Some of us just out here want to date when we want to date without commitment. Some of us want to date just to have easy sex, or sex that we know that's familiar. You know what I'm saying? Some of us just want companionship to Netflix and chill. You know what I mean? Everything is not of a sexual nature. Some people just have dance partners that they go out with. You know, I think we have to start figuring out what really is what. And be okay with that. If it's a Dutch date, be okay. Like, I remember when I went out, one of the reasons why Michael, the DJ's girlfriend, was upset with him when she reached out to me and to him, was because when him and I but one of the few times, the last times him and I went out, we went to Ride New York. We went to a playland, right? Yo, I had the most fun with him. But yo, that was a Dutch date, and it was clear. You know what I'm saying? Yep. We weren't going on a romantic level. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that we weren't attracted to each other, but we went with the intentions of, we just going to have fun. You'll pay your way, I pay my way. Like, I paid for us to get in, he paid for the food. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, we knew what it was going in. But where he fucked up, and this is where people fuck up, is instead of telling his lady he was with his homegirl hanging out, he didn't. So it made it seem like you lied and covered up, and it was more than what it was.
Yes. Yep.
And now it looks like we were on a date.
Yeah. Yep.
Whether he paid for it or I paid for it.
Still something worth hiding, right? It's the appearance of impropriety. That's what we call it. Yeah.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, you know, having the conversation, you know, is when people say, put your big panties on, put your grown panties on, you know, it's being able to have the uncomfortable conversation so that there is clarity in what it is that you're doing. And it's only
it's like, I like you, I want to rub parts with you. Can we go on a first date? Just be clear.
Is that wrong?
I don't think so. That I can wear whatever I want.
But I don't like, see, that's why your dating life is different from mine now. You know what I'm saying? Because you're hot in the butt right now, Miss Melissa D. I'm looking for my husband, and you're looking for right now. Oh, wow. Wait, but that's interesting, because if you are, not to say that you're not looking for another partner, but if you are kind of looking for the right now and getting what's popping, is he obligated then to make that financial investment, or can he just pay for dinner and fuck you?
I'm cool with either one. And you can reach me at melissa@melissadasilva.com.
And on that note of the next chapter, we will end talking about our discussion on first dates. What kinds of conversations should you have? Should you have them? Are you prepared to have them? You know, that is the full roundup to this conversation. What are your expectations, if having any, are had in having a first date, you know? And I think that that's what, when you get to these points in your life, when you get to these next chapters in your life, you get more comfortable with having the conversations, as uncomfortable as they might be. So once again, this is another episode of The Next Chapter. We appreciate that you joined us. We appreciate that your comments that you keep bringing in each week. Please continue to share. Let us know what you think, and let us know, what do you expect on the first date? Do you expect anything on the first date? Who should pay? And if who pays, does that mean more than what it is? Does it mean, does it mean that you're now setting something up for your next partner in life? Like, talk to us. Let us know what you're thinking. Next week on The Next Chapter, we are going to be talking about menopause. So stay tuned for that. And you know what to do. Subscribe, follow, like, all that good shit, because we are The Next Chapter, where we discuss shades of gray. We appreciate you all. Melissa, do you have any closing words you want to say to the people?
I love you all, and thank you for watching.
All right, guys, have a wonderful week. Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you from The Next Chapter.
Legendary ciphers get the MCs in the jars. The city never sleeps. Slept from 1 to 5 when COVID hit the block and we had to stay inside. Tough love is all I know, so be gentle with my soul. Learn to navigate winters with no coat. If you never been cold, you never been broke. Hustle 24/7 just to stay afloat. So New York, like dollar pizza in the cold. Shit, that real life, great from the heart of the city.